So these are Cristiano Ronaldo's new signature boots for what will, most likely at least, be his last World Cup ever. So today I'm going to tell you about the design, I'm going to show you what the boots look like in action, and hopefully I'll also help you decide whether you should buy a pair of these or not. And if you want to buy a pair, there's a link right up there. Let's get going. So, new Ronaldo boots again? Well, yeah, here they are. But I mean, if this is indeed his last World Cup ever, it's a nice way to end that chapter of his career with a pair of signature boots. But as far as I know, this pair of bad boys don't really have an official name like some of the earlier ones. But what I do know is that they're inspired by the so-called Azulejo tiles, which is a very distinct art form in the Iberian Peninsula and in particular in Portugal. Now, Azulejo tiles, which is hard to say by the way, are painted colored tiles that form either a bigger mosaic or a more painting-like piece of art. You often see it in churches, on public buildings, in malls, all over the place in Portugal. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it goes way back in history. I'm told back to the Middle East. But if you want those details, go on Wikipedia. What you do need to know though is that Azulejo tiles are seen as national art treasure in Portugal. But what else is national treasure in Portugal? Well, some people might say Cristiano Ronaldo. But if that was the only backstory to the boot, that would be extremely cheesy. So Nike also has another one up their sleeve, and that is to highlight what you can achieve when someone dedicates themselves fully to a certain craft. Now, that could be the craft of making art with Azulejo tiles, or it could also be the craft of playing football. And to tell this story, Nike has created this bespoke pattern on the boots, which is made with this typical warm blue color that's seen on Azulejo tiles. And they also take inspiration from some of the patterns seen on previous CR7 signature boots. Now, that is, of course, the safari print, very synonymous with CR7. I think I also see a reference to the captain's logo on the Chapter 6 boots, and maybe also these different lines could be a reference to the Cut to Brilliance diamond pattern on the Chapter 5 boots. And maybe I'm just grasping here, but there could also be a reference to the Pinstripe Superfly 2 boots from 2011. But I'm not sure about that. What I am sure about is that the print here has been applied with a shiny finish to make it look like the shiny finish you get on a painted tile. And what I really like is this bronze copper accent plays well with blue. Yeah, the design might be made specifically for CR7, but apart from that, well, 98% of the boot at least, is a Superfly 9 as you know it. So that means that you get this super soft textile Vapor Posit Plus upper that makes this Mercurial, for me at least, one of the most comfortable Mercurials to ever be made. It's a little bit wider than older Mercurials, but I would still say that size-wise, you should go true to size, and it's a very, very nice sensation. That is only helped by the air zoom bag under the forefoot, which is supposed to make you feel faster and more explosive, and it really doesn't, to be honest. It does feel slightly bouncy and squishy, and as if your foot is better connected to the boot, and that's comfortable, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it makes you faster. However, that's something the outsole takes care of. It feels nice and responsive and aggressive when you push off, like a Mercurial should.
But just a small side note, what's not like the normal Mercurial is the two solid swooshes on each side. That means that the boots feel a bit stiffer there, which is good for the feeling of structure and stability, but also makes the midfoot feel more rigid than normally. Is it a deal breaker? No, but now you know.
And again, you also get to choose between the Superfly 9 and the Vapor 15s. So there's something for everyone, if you like the design. But like I said in the beginning, this will, most likely at least, because the man is a machine after all, be Ronaldo's last World Cup, his last pair of World Cup boots. Unless Nike have something crazy up their sleeve. But actually he's worn quite a lot of boots in World Cups over the years, since his debut at the World Cup in 2006 in Germany, where he wore both the black gold and the red-white version of the Vapor 3s. Now then in 2010, he wore the Superfly 2 Elites, like everyone else, and the same thing happened in 2014, where he headlined the Superfly 4. but not the boot that we could buy. He got this totally customized, low-cut version of the Superfly 4. Now then in 2018, he went back to the Superfly from the Just Do It pack that everyone else wore for the group stage, because he also had another trick up their sleeve back then. So for the knockouts, he wore this white version of his Chapter 6 boots called, and I'm gonna butcher this in Portuguese, Edição Especial. Anyways, I don't speak Portuguese. I'm very sorry to everyone who speaks the language out there. That was terrible, but you know what I mean. But the boots celebrated that in 154 matches, Ronaldo had scored more goals than any other European player for his national team. Well, that was pretty cool. And now we're back in 2022. His last pair of World Cup boots, his last chance of lifting that trophy, the World Cup trophy for his country. Just imagine. World Cup final, 120th minute, Ronaldo scores a penalty winning the match. Do you think when he lifts the trophy, the whole stadium's just gonna go, It would be so cheesy, but also kind of cool. The big question here is, what do we think? Well, my videographer behind the camera really likes them. Me, on the other hand, I think they need to grow on me a bit, if I'm honest. But guys, what do you think? Let me know your opinion in the comment section right down below. And remember that if you want to buy these or the vapors in FG and AG, you can do so from the link to Unisport right over there. And then, of course, also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already to join one of the biggest and best football families here on YouTube. And finally, if you like learning new skills, and I guess who doesn't, well, the playlist right down there is absolutely amazing. And with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.